Rob Hodgson was an investigator with the UN in Haiti. It was his job to examine allegations of sexual misconduct by UN employees.
Right here.
For the first time ever, he's sharing details about a troubling case that landed on his desk in 2013.
The female victim had met a police officer who was working as a peacekeeper.
Hodgson says the officer had picked up a local sex worker and brought her to the UN vehicle when the two had an argument about how much she would be paid.
The confrontation had turned physical and that he had pointed his UN-issued firearm at her.
Then, Hodgson says, what she did next is possibly the only reason anyone was able to learn the officer was a Canadian.
In fear of her life, she had fled from the vehicle, during the course of which she had taken his UN ID badge.
That ID badge revealed the officer had been recruited for the Haiti mission from the Sûreté du Québec police.
Were you guys confident that this incident actually took place?
Yes. Yes, without a doubt.
The Haiti earthquake nearly a decade ago left an already impoverished country even more vulnerable. With the promise to help, some 625 police officers from different police forces have come here as peacekeepers, mostly to train the Haitian police. Because there's a huge power imbalance, the officers are forbidden from getting sexually involved with the Haitians. But new internal government emails obtained by CBC News reveals 6 Canadian police officers have engaged in sexual misconduct, and the UN was losing patience with Canada. The diplomatic relationship was being strained, according to an email from Global Affairs to the RCMP discussing the matter. Another document shows the UN sent multiple requests to Canada. It wanted details on accountability for the officers. And the UN wasn't impressed with what it learned. The most an officer received in those 6 cases was a 9-day suspension. And following Hodgson's investigation, the officers simply avoided accountability by retiring.
The people who I really feel sorry for are the actual victims. They are forgotten.
And remember, police officers deployed to Haiti come from about 30 police forces across Canada. If something goes wrong, it's that local police force that decides on the discipline. But it's the RCMP that oversees the peacekeeping program. They wouldn't agree to an on-camera interview, but spoke to us by phone.
Would you agree that the current system of holding UN police officers accountable is broken?
The system is clearly not broken. Even one case is too many. But when these cases do take place, we have the processes in place to ensure that there is accountability.
Actually, the documents spell out that accountability is rather thin. In fact, if a peacekeeping officer commits a crime while abroad, in most cases, he can't be charged back in Canada. It's a gap in Canada's legal system that's also revealed in the documents as a source of concern for the UN. Something the UN acknowledges to CBC News it has asked Canada to fix.
Canada could decide to pass legislation that would make the conduct of its employees provided to the UN susceptible to criminal prosecution.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister admits there is a problem.
If a peacekeeping officer commits a sex crime against an adult abroad, when he's brought back to Canada, he actually cannot be tried here. What, if anything, is being done to address this issue?
It is important for us to be sure that we have a framework here in Canada that allows us to deal with any offenses committed outside the country. The problem you've identified is real, and we need to find ways to address it.
After inquiries from CBC News, one of the police forces involved says it's now reopened its investigation into its officers' behavior in Haiti. Habiba Nashin, CBC News, Toronto.